What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday night. That means it is Dynasty 365 time. I'm your host, Stacy Perez. In one corner, we've got Tyler Howell. In the other corner, we've got our very own Keith Fleming. Guys, tonight we are here to talk free agency. Let's go. What's up, everybody? It is free agent week. We are here to sort out all the free agent chaos, talk about the latest breaking news tonight. If you're in the chat, you have questions for us, please make sure to drop your comments, questions, anything in there. We will get to it. But first, how are you guys doing tonight? Keith, what's up? Thank you for joining us.
Man, talk about perfect timing. I seriously just, slid into Stacy's DMs. I was like, I really kind of want to crash the show tonight. There's so much fun stuff to talk about. She's like, funny you should say that. We need a third person on the show. So it's copacetic. Very excited to be here. You know, I'm a big fan of both of you guys and your work. And man, the NFL's king because of this week. Like they just constantly stay in the news. You know, the draft's coming up in a month. It'll start all over again, where again, there's just a frenzy. It's just the best.
It really is. I mean, like they do a great job of keeping all eyes on the NFL 12 months out of the year.
Year round.
Oh yeah. Tyler, what's up? How you doing? How's your week?
Oh, I'm great. I don't think I've gotten a whole lot of work done this week because I've just been being bombarded with tweet notifications about free agency signings. But it's been a lot of fun, even with the relative lack of action and expected relative lack of action of my Browns. But that doesn't matter because everything else is that much more exciting.
Don't you just hate it when your real job interferes with football?
What's a real job?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is my real job.
Little do they know.
It's like I spend way more time and effort here, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Just don't tell my boss.
Oh, yeah. Don't tell my boss either.
You're your boss, Stacy.
I am my own boss. I know. World's best boss.
What a baller.
Depending on the day.
Flexing early tonight. I love it.
Just a little bit. You know. Guys, before we get going, talking about these free agency, I want to do just a little plug real quick. For if you guys have been paying attention to our Twitter, it is Women's History Month in March. So we at Fantasy and Frames, we are doing a women's best ball challenge. And right now, as we speak, we are at 32 ladies confirmed and signed up for the challenge. That means I need 4 more of you out there to get signed up so we can have an even 36 and make this a 3-division tournament.
I will talk to my wife, Stacy, as soon as we end this episode.
Yes, Keith. I would love to have even more if we can fill out 4 divisions and get a few more girls in. I would love that too. So if you are seeing this and you're interested, you haven't signed up yet, you can send me a DM, pop on in the chat, let me know, get me your info, and I will get you that invite. Trying to get everything wrapped up this weekend so I can sort you into your divisions and get ready to draft here at the end of the month and see who we're going to crown as the first annual Best Ball Queen. So
easy as can be, too. I love best ball drafts. Now I'm starting to get into. You draft and you're done. Like, how can you beat that?
Exactly. You draft, you're done. And like, I know what you're saying, like, it's March. Why am I drafting before the actual draft? Look, I think that it just brings so much more credibility to your draft, you know, that you're drafting before everything is settled, you know, before the rookies know their landing spot and how things are going to shake out. I love drafting this time of year. I think it's a lot of fun. So come on, join us. It's only going to be like 2 hours of your time and you don't have to manage it for the rest of the season. So come on in. All right, guys. You want to tackle quarterbacks first?
Uh-oh.
Keith, the floor is yours.
Keith is ready. Keith. I hear you guys got a new quarterback down there in Atlanta.
You mean we have a quarterback that can actually throw the ball more than 5 yards?
Yes, you have a quarterback now. How excited are you?
I'm excited. I was a big Fields guy. Like, I'm not going to lie. I wanted us to trade for Fields. I thought that there was potential, long-term upside. The first 2 years would be really cheap. For the people that are saying, Cousins doesn't ever beat good teams, he's coming off an Achilles injury, he's 36 years old. You're guaranteeing him $100 million. All very fair points. But it's kind of like when you're in a relationship with somebody that just really sucks. The next person, if they're just a little bit better, is like Prince Charming, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? And that's where we're at. We haven't made the playoffs since 2017. And if you had watched what I watched at QB, and in fairness, I love Matt Ryan. Seriously, should be in the Hall of Fame. But that last year, Ryan was kind of done. And then we went into Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ridder, and Tyler Heineke. So, yeah, I'm fucking ecstatic that we have a quarterback that's confident. And there's so many reasons this seriously makes sense. Number one, we just want to be competitive. Seriously, that's what the fan base is clamoring for. It's what the owner's clamoring for. It's not fair to Raheem Morris, who I think is a really good coach who's had to wait a long time, way too long, to get his second chance to head coach. You got to give him a fair shake. And going into the season with Ridder, I mean, even if we traded for Fields, that's probably a couple years down the line. And then most importantly, because I hated this in the moment, and maybe I'll be proved wrong now, we drafted Kyle Pitts, who's now in the 4th year of his rookie deal, followed up with Drake London, who's in the 3rd year of his rookie deal. And we don't know really how good either one of those guys are because we hadn't had a QB to get them the ball. So before we have to pay them, or even my bigger nightmare, we don't sign them, they go somewhere else, and then all of a sudden they're the guy that we thought we drafted. I think it makes a lot of sense. And for the people saying it's a lot of money, no, it's not. The salary cap just went up another $10 million from what they expected. Last year, 21 QBs made $20 million or more. Kirk Cousins is in the top half. Like, no matter what you say, he's a top 15 QB, no matter kind of what you think of him. And when you look at it that way, it's not that big. It's a 2.5-year commitment. I want us now to draft Penix if we can in the 2nd round, let him sit, wait. And I want us to trade down at number 8 and then pick up one of these stud offensive linemen, pick up a couple extra picks, because that's my biggest concern, honestly, about the Cousins is we're a great run blocking offensive line, not a very good pass blocking offensive line. And we have a 36-year-old immobile quarterback coming off an Achilles injury. We got to shore that up. I know people are talking about taking a wide receiver, which I will lose my fucking mind if we do that. I'm okay with us taking Dallas Turner or somebody there, but I think we actually, like, we're obviously going all in on offense. We proved that with Pitts, London, Bijan. Now we signed Cousins. Might want to make sure we can protect and give those guys time. And this draft, again, is maybe the best offensive line draft in the history of the league. Let's take one of those guys, kind of secure that. But overall, very happy. Thank you, Arthur Blank. Thank you for just a little bit of hope. It's been so long. Since 28-3, it's been a rough ride. That was now almost 8 years ago. So I am very excited.
Where does this put like Pitts and London? Are these guys that, like, as far as Dynasty goes, are you trying to sell them right now?
Hell no. I mean, this is a team, again, like, we're coming from the McVay, offense, a lot of 11 personnel. Drake London has been really good in the slot, not used a lot there, but you would assume seeing Cooper Kupp, how much he's been used in the slot. Justin Jefferson with Minnesota, O'Connell, which again, same system. He's been used in the slot. I love that in the McVay offenses, like Higbee has led the league in routes run and being on the field. It's like 2 out of the last 3 years. So Kyle Pitts is both going to be on the field and not blocking while we throw to Jonnu Smith. I think Pitts' upside could be astronomical because people have left him for dead and you can get him cheap. London, I really think London's a very good wide receiver. And if you look what he's done, he didn't even have that year with Ryan. He's literally just had Mariota, Ridder, Heineke. I like both of them, but the real winner is Bijan Robinson, who now that there's somebody that can throw the ball, I expect a really big year from him as well.
Keith, Jamie's got a question for you here in the chat. Wants to know if you've ever been to Magic City Club. I don't know what that is. Is that
it's a strip club.
Oh, okay. See, I was like, is that a magic club? Is that like a improv thing? I don't know. No.
Kirk probably will be there sometime next week when he signs his contract. If I had to guess. It's a rite of passage if you're in the Atlanta area.
Oh, Kirk is way too squeaky clean.
He's got to spend it all at Kohl's, guys. We already know this. He's got all the Kohl's cash now. that man has like, he's got to have like the best agents ever, right? I mean, like just continuing to get these amazing contracts. I'm just blown away. Like, good for him though. Like that, good for Kirk Cousins.
In fairness, quarterbacks don't normally hit free agency because teams don't let them leave. And if you're an above average quarterback, which Cousins is, who has not been afraid to, change spots, it is a little shocking he left Justin Jefferson. That kind of baffles me, especially when Jefferson said publicly, me being with Minnesota long term, Cousins better be here. So I'm interested to see what happens there. But I mean, yeah, Cousins' agent is good, but it's also just smart of him to, take advantage of a market that, I mean, look at what, like Jameson just got $8 million to be a backup.
Right. We'll get to Jameis. Don't worry. We're going to get to Jameis. Tyler and I just actually traded in our show Dynasty team. We actually just traded and got Jefferson. And you would think that we'd be excited about that. And now I'm not as excited as
I think Jefferson could catch passes with me throwing it to him. So I wouldn't worry about that too much.
Oh, man. All right. Tyler, are you ready? We promised it on Twitter that there would be an epic rant.
Rant.
And I don't know if you guys were ready or not, or if you suspected, but it has to do with Russell Wilson, not necessarily going to Pittsburgh, but we'll talk about that here in a second. Tyler, you have the floor.
I'm always ready for a good rant. But I feel like this has kind of been beaten to death, but no one's really completely laid it out. The Russell Wilson trade is probably the worst trade in NFL history for now.
Well, maybe the Bryce Young trade, but it's right there.
I was going to say Carolina might try to take that mantle.
Well, the Browns are doing their best to take it.
Oh, that's fair. Well. I didn't even think about the Deshaun deal.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I said for now.
I'm the last guy on Deshaun Island, though. So.
God. I didn't know you could buy a ticket to that place.
You have to give a massage to get on the island.
Oh.
Keith, you didn't read that in the fine print.
I did not, especially not from him. I know what he expects.
But it's a very large Polish man that's giving it to you.
Listen, we don't shame people here. That's not that kind of show. Everyone's welcome.
So Russell Wilson trade. Broncos got Russell Wilson. I think they got like a 4th round pick or something, but I can't remember exactly. Seahawks get Drew Lock. Solid backup for a couple of years. He went and got himself a little contract. Noah Fant continued to develop as a tight end. Got better and better every year. Just re-signed with the Seahawks for 2 years, $21 million. So again, another good get by the Seahawks. Shelby Harris, very productive defensive tackle for the Seahawks. They got a 2022 first-round pick, Charles Cross, a starting left tackle. They got a 2022 second-round pick, Boye Mafe. He played over 800 snaps for them last year. He had 52 tackles, 9 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 6 passes defended, and 16 QB hits. 2022 fifth-round pick, Tyreek Smith. They traded him to the Cardinals. He hasn't played. Whatever. It's a fifth-round pick. 2023 first, Devon Witherspoon, Pro Bowler in year 1. He was 4th in voting in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting. He looks like a future All-Pro player. And 2023 second-round pick is Derek Hall. We don't really know a whole lot about him yet. But you got Charles Cross, Boye Mafe, Devon Witherspoon, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris. Like, come on. Yeah. That's absolutely insane what they turned that pick into. Not to add that the Broncos were wildly unsuccessful with Russell Wilson. He destroyed that team's culture. I think that's the most underrated and not talked about thing of this. He destroyed that locker room. He got the coach fired. He got the GM castrated by Sean Payton. He ruined everything. And now he's going to cost them $85 million in cap space over the next 2 years. Yeah. As he's playing for the Steelers and probably not well because he doesn't fit into Arthur Smith's offense. But it's really, really, really bad. And I think it will only be trumped by probably Deshaun Watson right now, because while the Panthers trade was bad, the Browns,
upside, right? Yeah.
Well, it's not even the upside thing; it's the contract.
Oh, that's fair.
Bryce Young, sure, it would really
It's
suck.
not capital and salary cap. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But I forgot, don't
both
ever
good.
dismiss the Herschel Walker trade, which is hands down the worst trade in the history of the NFL because it literally built the Cowboys dynasty in the 90s.
I don't remember the exact of that. Like, I remember Ricky Williams being just them trading their entire draft for him. I remember that one, but
I think the Cowboys got 3 Hall of Famers with draft picks from the Herschel Walker draft.
Oh my gosh. That was slightly before my time, guys. I'm not.
I'm old as shit. 7 picks, I believe. It was these 6 or 7 picks I got, and I'm almost positive 3 of them went on to be Hall of Famers. I know they were all like key parts of the 3 Super Bowls.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, like, how do we feel about Russ in Pittsburgh? I mean, they just got rid of Deontay Johnson, so I guess he's just going to throw the ball to George Pickens.
Where did he go? I missed that one.
Oh, Johnson went to the Panthers. Yeah, they sent him to the Panthers. Yeah, so he cannot
get Bryce something.
Bryce Young. Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be a hot take because I can't stand Russell Wilson, but I love a lot of Pittsburgh's weapons. Like, I mean, they got Darnell Washington, Pat Freiermuth, you got Pickens. And the thing about Arthur Smith that, and again, I'm not normally the one rushing to defend him because fuck that guy, but he's going to pound the rock. And they got 2 good backs. And Russell is at his best, play action, not being asked to do a lot, or at least for his career so far. If Russell can just not turn the ball over, which I think is a possibility, I think it could work. Like, I like a lot. And Pittsburgh's defense, too. Like, they made a couple of signings. Like, I think that it's a potentially scary team.
Okay, let me ask you a question about their run game. So, do you pass on Najee and wait to get Warren with the Arthur Smith? You know how he likes to, go, use the lesser, known guy. I
actually think Najee is more of the kind of back in an Arthur Smith type offense. I mean, you look at Cordell Patterson, right, who is this big, physical, fast back.
Yeah.
I mean, he had never really been a running back, and he rushed for 1,000 yards and was a Pro Bowler. They go out and draft Tyler Algier in the 6th round, another kind of physical, fast back. He has 1,000 yards his rookie season. I think they're both going to be affected. I just think that Smith is going to like Harris because he likes to eat up clock, move the chains slowly. Like, that's the style. I've seen it. Like, that they're not ever in a hurry. And I think Harris is going to fit that more. And also, he is very particular about which running back he gives the ball to in the red zone. We saw that in Atlanta. That was kind of why Bijan didn't live up to the expectations for fantasy this year. And I think that Najee's going to get a majority of the goal line carries.
Okay, so next question for you. All right. You mentioned Darnell Washington. That's my guy. Love Darnell Washington. Does he get his first touchdown this season?
Well, considering he's the 2nd best tight end in Pittsburgh, yeah, I think it is because, everybody's like, oh, Pat Freiermuth. I'm like, no. We saw this last year with Kyle Pitts, Jonnu Smith. It's Darnell Washington, or if they have a 3rd tight end that I'm not aware of, it might be that guy. But I am shocked that you have somebody that big who has good hands. Yeah. He's athletic for his size. Great hands. Why would you not, like, with Kenny Pickett's issues, like throwing the ball, why would you not be targeting a monstrous of a man who's like, what is he, 6'7"? Like, I don't understand.
It's beyond me. It is. I mean, the man's got 11-inch hands. I mean, as we want to say on this show, everyone knows. Keith, do you know how big 11 inches is? It's the size of a sheet of paper. Take a look at that thing.
No, I do not know what 11 inches is, and neither does my wife. So, it's a few inches short.
Much bigger hands than Kenny Pickett. That
hello.
Poor Kenny Pickett.
That does matter.
And his tiny
size
hands.
does matter. Hashtag.
It really, absolutely. Tyler, how do you feel about Russ going to Pittsburgh?
I mean, everything Keith said makes sense, but Arthur Smith has always loved kind of funneling that ball over the middle of the field in the passing game.
That's not Russ.
And Russ can't do that. He's never been able to.
Good point.
I mean, I really like Pickens. I think he's great. I don't know if he's just that run deep every time guy. Like he's just a really good wide receiver. He can get open. And I think Russell really liked throwing 50-50 balls to him, but you can't do that all the time. And
yeah, Pickens will be cussing his ass out on the sideline if that's all he's getting. I can guarantee you that.
There's going to be some drama. That'll be kind of fun.
I'm a little concerned.
Yeah. I think it's an upgrade over Kenny Pickett for sure, but I don't know that I still really want to.
No
they picked him 16th in a draft that I don't think anybody would have taken a QB in the first round.
No.
It's kind of a rare, real whiff by the Steelers when it comes to drafting.
Jamie wants to know, am I still on Washington? Did I fix my crystal ball? Jamie, listen, my crystal ball is just late, or just we're not early here. We're just a little bit late on Darnell Washington, and that's okay. You're going to see this year when Arthur Smith uses him in the red zone. Just wait.
Tight ends take longer too to develop. Like, I mean, I know we've gotten spoiled with like McBride and Laporta and stuff, but most of these like athletic big tight ends, it takes a few years for them to sort of figure it out for whatever reason.
Well, and if you look at how, like they're using him as an extra lineman, and he has excelled at that. So he's excelled in what they've asked him to do. So, for that, he has done very well in his first year. Just not, he hasn't scored anything. That's okay though, because he will this year. We've got a couple other guys that, I don't know that we need to spend a ton of time on. Are we excited about Jacoby Brissett going to New England?
I mean, fantasy-wise, not really. I mean, they still have a lot of work to do on the offensive side of the ball, because Hunter Henry is not going to carry them to being a prolific offense.
No, but they
don't hate on my boy Demario Douglas.
That's right. I love Pop Douglas.
I love him too. All right, but for the love of God, they need to do some serious work.
This means they're getting a quarterback.
Antonio Gibson. I mean, this Patriots team is really looking loaded.
Exactly. I mean, just
they're getting what they deserve after freaking dominating for 2 decades. Welcome to hell. Welcome to being a Falcons fan.
They're definitely drafting a quarterback, right? I mean, do we feel like is this Drake May? You're now a New England Patriot time.
Oh, you think Daniels is going too?
I do. I like Daniels. I like Daniels to go too.
I do too. I just see May going too.
Girl. Yeah.
Drake May is like getting negged right now. Like everyone's just hating on him because he played on a shitty team.
He is everything you want in a NFL quarterback. He's big. He's got a strong arm. Like to me, and I'm not saying he will be Justin Herbert, but I see a lot of similarities in Justin Herbert coming into his draft and Drake May coming into this one. Daniels has got, I think, a higher ceiling, but I am serious concerned. Like, I think my buddy Allen made one of the greatest comps ever. He's RG3 2.0, both the good and the bad. He's really talented, but he also could get hurt real easy if he plays the way he did in college.
Yeah. I think they need to, this is just like an off rant about him, but I think they need to like teach him, like send him to wherever Tua went to learn how to fall so that he doesn't get any more concussions. Like just teach him how to protect himself. I mean, or else he's going to end up like poor Anthony Robertson this year. Who's
the best Red Sox it'd be Washington, right? Who's the best Nationals base runner? That's who he needs to go see.
Do they have base runners? I didn't even know they had those in Washington for the Nationals.
What do they just hit home runs? I don't watch enough baseball.
Oh, they definitely hit home runs. I don't know who's a Nats fan on here. I don't know if they have any or not, but
there's baseball fans still.
Yeah.
Under 75?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Atlanta baseball fans. Yeah. Heck yeah. Talking to somebody who just took the day off, mental health day yesterday, to go watch a spring training game.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Bradenton, Florida, with a bunch of
Who'd you go see? What teams?
I saw the Braves and the Pirates.
Sweet.
Yeah. It was a nice little day. I love doing stuff like that anyway, because I'm like literally like 75 years old in my heart.
See, I told you.
Although there's an older couple in front of me, and they were probably in their 70s, and they were pounding beers like it was nobody's business. And I was just in awe. And then they just left in the 7th inning, and I hope they knew how to use Uber.
Take Uber, please. Or they probably took a taxi, knowing them if they're 70 years old.
If they figured out how to do that, yeah. But I was like, wow, look at you guys go. Good job.
wandering around in front of the stadium looking for a
Stacy's like,
payphone.
where's the party and can I join you?
Right? Exactly. Oh my, can I be your grandchild? Oh my goodness. All right, you guys want to talk about Sam Darnold in Minnesota? I mean, I don't know that we want to. Should we be a Debbie Downer and talk about that?
I just want to know, like, how do you explain that move to Justin Jefferson?
Thank
You're
you.
the best wide receiver in football, and I would argue, the best wide receiver to start, his first, now we're at like year 5,
Yeah.
potentially in the history of the game.
Yeah.
And you're going, hey, I know that you had a pretty good QB, that you had a great, obviously connection with, and Kirk Cousins. We didn't want to give him 100 million guaranteed. He probably would understand that, but telling him, hey, we got you. We got Sam Darnold coming. How's that do it for you? You remember how well DJ Moore did with Sam Darnold? It was a freaking disaster. We saw DJ Moore is a beast. I think Jefferson is going to get traded. I really do. I'm shocked that they made this move. And I think before the end of the year, Jefferson's on another team for a massive haul, like maybe the biggest haul we've seen for a wide receiver.
So let me ask you. I know this is our Dynasty show, but I want to ask a redraft question real quick. If Jefferson stays and they don't do anything else at quarterback and it's just Darnold starting, like how far does Jefferson fall? Like he's definitely not like the first receiver off the board. How far does he fall?
Who would be though? Let me ask you that. CD,
Chase. Let's see. Tyreek. Yeah. I mean,
we're not talking Dynasty. I'm sorry. Yeah. Redraft. Yeah. So he'd be like probably wide receiver 4. I wouldn't let him drop. I don't think any further than that.
Would you take St. Brown over Jefferson?
No. And I love St. Brown, but there's no way I'm letting Jefferson, like I will be the guy that's probably the sucker, but if he's, if I'm picking third and he doesn't get picked in those first 2 picks, I'll gladly take my chances. Cause think about it. They're going to be bad. That's what I always tell people. And when a team's bad, they're down. You know what you do a lot when you're down? You throw it.
What about Addison? How does this help out or not help Addison?
He did pretty well though, right? With some pretty rough QBs down the stretch last year.
So in weeks 9 through 18, between the trio of Joshua Dobbs, Nick Mullins, and Jaron Hall,
I thought Atlanta was bad.
Justin Jefferson was the wide receiver 9 in points per game.
Wow. So you would say Darnold's better than those 3 guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Addison was the wide receiver 41.
Well, but what was he before though? Like, right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he was probably much better. I was wrong about Addison. I didn't see it. Dude's a freak. That's why, again, it's shocking. It's like you got Cousins, you got Jefferson, you got Hawkinson, and you got Addison, and now we're just going to punt on QB. It's like Atlanta taking a tight end, a wide receiver, and a running back, the top 8 of the class, and being like, but we don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't really understand anything. Like I don't understand how that ended up happening or what they were thinking. But all right, guys, we have got so much to talk about. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time. Obviously, Baker stays in Tampa. Marcus Mariota to the Commanders. Nobody cares about that. Gardner went to Vegas, which I just think is fun because Gardner's a fun guy. I don't know.
Could be the starter, or are they going to trade for Fields?
I feel like they've got to trade for somebody, right? They're not going to have Gardner as their starter, right?
That's what I would say. I mean, I think that's the Fields destination now, if you look at it.
They gave Gardner $25 million over 2 years.
Wow, I did not see that.
They paid him like he's going to be their starter for a year.
Really? Do you think they draft somebody then to be is he their bridge guy? Or
what's their pick in the first?
I believe they are
13.
13. Are they before or after Denver? Because that's the McCarthy landing. That's the McCarthy landing spot right there, in my opinion. One of those 2.
We'll see. I don't know. I still think that we're seeing the quarterback inflation like narrative.
You think somebody jumps the gun?
Maybe.
I just think it's going to be like 5 years ago or something. Davis Webb was going to go in the first round and he didn't go until the 4th. Like, there's always that one QB that everyone's like, I don't know, he could go top 5, and then they go in like the 3rd.
It's fair, but just to me at this point, we've kind of learned, like if I was a GM or an owner, I would be taking as many shots as QBs until I found the guy that I could. I mean, because really you're screwed in the modern NFL if you don't have the guy. Like you can get away with it for a year, like have maybe one really good season. But if you're talking about consistently being good, there's the haves and the have-nots in the NFL. And typically it starts, under center with the QB.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Stacy, let me run through the Justin Fields landing
Yes,
spots.
please.
Yes, please. I want to hear this.
Our minds have melded, Tyler.
All right. So I went through and I literally rated every quarterback situation from like 1 being like the Patriots or the Bucks or the Vikings being we have no solution whatsoever. This is pre-free agency, so don't jump the gun on the Baker thing. To 5 of just like I have Mahomes or Josh Allen. So I'm looking at teams that I rated 1 through 3. I've got 13 of those teams. So Patriots, they're going to draft someone at 3. The Vikings, they have Darnold for a year, and I don't think the Bears are going to trade in division. Bucks, they signed Baker. They're not going to get Fields. Falcons, they signed Kirk. Steelers, they have Russell Wilson. So that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me.
And Pickett.
And Pickett. Raiders, they have Gardner Minshew, who they paid 2 years, $25 million. They still have Aiden O'Connell. I'm not going to write it off completely, but they addressed it.
No,
Broncos, the Broncos don't have shit. They have Jarrett Stidham.
Could you see him being a good fit with Sean Payton?
I can't.
I can't either. That's the issue, right?
Yeah. So Giants, they have Daniel Jones. They now have Mac Jones as well, right?
Wait a minute, no, Jaguars.
No, Jaguars. My bad.
I think that would be an interesting spot because, Brian Dable is a pretty creative coach. They got weapons around them. You got Wan'Dale Robinson, right, who's kind of a gadget guy you can use all over. We know Darius Slayton, is a good deep ball threat, which is what Fields excels at. Same for Jalen Hyatt. And then Waller, like that's the first landing spot. I'm going, that might work.
Yeah. And the last few are Commanders, draft 1 at 2. Panthers, I just don't think it's going to happen, but it could. Titans, I think they're just rolling with Will Levis for a year. They're going to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bears, Bears already have them. And the Seahawks, Geno's fine. I don't think they just don't strike me as a team that's going to do that. So,
Jamie taking shots at you, pro.
He is.
I'm going to get there, Jamie. Don't worry. I have a very special note for that one. So I've got it narrowed down to Vikings, Raiders, Broncos, Giants, Panthers. And honestly, none of those really seem likely to me. So we're pretty much out of spots for Fields as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
So that then puts you into the backup quarterback range, or then you're looking at the teams that are better. And no one has been more aggressive and no one has been more savvy with trading their draft picks than Andrew Berry and the Browns. Honestly, they really haven't. They didn't pay Jameis a whole lot of money. It would be a good contingency plan if you could trade. It seems like the price is getting down to like a 3rd and a 6th now.
They've got to get rid of. You cannot bring in the number 1 pick and still have a guy that you took that early in the draft because you got to show these QBs, you got to coddle them a little bit. We believe in you. And to be keeping Fields is saying, we believe in you, but we want to have a little bit of a backup plan. So they've got to get rid of them.
Well, I mean, can you imagine Caleb Williams is not going to stand for sitting on the bench?
No, he wouldn't sit on the bench. I just mean just having that person and pushing him right if Williams has a few bad games. Like it's just you're setting up a bad situation for a guy you're taking number 1 overall.
Yeah, that seems pretty toxic to do something like that.
We're not Steve Spurrier at Florida in the 90s.
And there's believers of Justin Fields in that locker room. Like there's people that want him there. And if
I'm one of
them. I like it. You're in the locker room, Keith?
Oh, no, not in the locker room. I'm a believer in Fields. If I'm in the locker room, I'm probably going to jail. So
you're there in your heart. You're in the locker room there.
That's right. Yeah.
There's some opportunities. I will be curious to see. I think I'm more curious to see what the price is than where he actually ends up.
Yes.
Because I'm at this point, I'm thinking a 3 and a 6.
And you can basically get him for a 1-year deal. You could pick up the option, which is very reasonable. Again, it's $20 million, which would have been like the 21st most expensive QB for that 5th year. But if you want to, you can just do it for 1 year and then decide, do you want to extend them or you just want to let them go?
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Or you could do the Jordan Love thing.
Yeah.
You give him 2 years, $22 million.
Yep.
You tack on a void year.
He would take
you
it
give
for
him
sure.
$10 million signing. That gets his cap hit down to like $6 million and $7 million over the next 2 years. So,
what if Buffalo traded for him to back up Allen?
It would make a ton of sense.
That's
one
what
of the
I'm
other notes
yeah.
I have on here is like the Ravens make sense, but
yeah,
the Bills
make
another
one.
More sense.
Yep.
All right, well, that's fun. Flacco went to the Colts. I think that's our last quarterback news, right? Unless there's something that came out while we were talking.
He didn't retire. What? You got to go out. Like, what was the old Seinfeld episode? Go out on a high note. George would tell a funny joke, get a laugh, and he just, all right, good night, everybody. We'll see you. I'll be here all week. Dude, you just, like, completely changed the narrative of the end of your career. Call it a day, Flacco. Like, you would be remembered as this guy that got Cleveland to the playoffs. It's like, what is he, like 40 years? How old is Flacco?
39.
Yeah,
39. I mean, to me, it's not going to go well for you, buddy. Get out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I got to know Flacco a little bit with his time in Cleveland. That dude just loves football.
Well, then I'm not gonna hate on for that. You're right. That's fair. Like, because it's gonna end, sooner than later anyway. So get the most out of it you can. And the Colts, we saw last year with Richardson, they may need a backup plan. So
yeah, I would say so. And Flacco seems like a perfect Shane Steichen guy. Just stand in there and just fling it all over the place.
Swing it all over the place and hand it to Jonathan Taylor a bunch.
Yep.
Well, do you guys want to talk some running backs?
Oh yeah.
Let's do it.
I mean, I think we have to start off with the best one, right? The most fun, like Saquon to Philly. Like, what a great FU to the Giants. Like, is that not just that cracked me up? That was hilarious.
It's a nice FU move. I don't know how this works. The Eagles don't throw the ball to the running back, and that's one of Saquon's strongest points. I mean, Saquon, he's a solid runner, but he bounces the ball a little too much. He limits kind of sometimes his opportunity on the ground. I mean, yes, he gets some big plays out of it, but his yards per carry is lower because he likes to swing for home runs. And he really excels in the pass game, and the Eagles don't do that. So are they going to actually change their offense to accommodate his skill set? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think the best fit on this list is Josh Jacobs and Packers.
I don't know that I'm like able to talk about that yet. Maybe I will be by the time we get there.
Upset about Aaron Jones?
I'm really upset about Aaron Jones.
It sucks. Can I say something about Barkley real quick? I think that this is now the only thing that concerns me about Barkley is he had 300 touches the last 2 years, and there is a lot of data that once you reach a certain age that he's reached, if running backs have back-to-back 300 touch seasons, it's going to be a pretty steep decline. Having said that, if you look at the situation he was behind in New York and still how he was able to perform, put up numbers, be a team leader, which I think is a really important part when there's some issues there. I don't know what's going on with Hurts, Brown, Smith. Like, I think it's nice to have Barkley in there. Joe says he's really a locker room leader. Like, he takes, just a real professional, right? The other thing is, look, I'm a Georgia guy, so I love DeAndre Swift. He is not half the freaking running back that Saquon Barkley is. Miles Sanders is not a quarter of the running back.
Miles who? I'm not familiar. Who's
exactly.
That? Yeah.
And look at the success they had in this offense. And not to mention, if the Eagles do not go back to the read option, which they basically just abandoned last year, and oh, by the way, your offense went from unstoppable to a freaking mess once people figured out what you were doing, they're done. And like it's gonna be a tough. But I think if you get back to that, which I believe they will, Hurts and Barkley is a terrifying read option situation. I think it's a great fit. And I do, to answer your question, Tyler, I do think that they are gonna like that. You don't make that signing without saying, look, Jalen, we're going to have to throw to the backs more. Like, we just have to. This guy is an elite pass catching running back, and it's going to help open up these big plays for Devontae Smith, and AJ Brown.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I agree that logic says that's what they should do, but logic also said they shouldn't have fucked up their offense last year.
Very fair. And they got to replace Kelsey, which is the other thing. I'm saying this got this great offensive line. They just lost a Hall of Fame, like all-time great center. You got to figure that out. They'll probably get Jackson Power Johnson from Oregon, and then it just keeps rolling.
They've got the 22nd overall pick is where they are. They're a little bit higher than I thought they were, but
Yeah, they got sent home very quickly.
Yeah, they did. All right. I guess I just want to let's talk about Jacobs for a second because that is probably
you should be ecstatic. Like like last year, I think he said, "Screw you, Raiders. I'm not killing myself after what I did last year for a 1-year deal."
Yeah.
With what the receivers looked like last year and how good Jordan Love looked. And I love Aaron Jones, but he's hurt all the time. Jacobs plays and and he's still so young. Like I love this. And I think Jacobs could potentially be like a top 5 running back in fantasy and just in production.
I know I'm going to have to get over it because this is really like a heart thing that's like bothering me.
Yeah, right.
Look, Aaron Jones, heart and soul of that team last year, right? One of the veteran leaders guys. But yeah, but the whole time though, like that was the youngest
50% where he was healthy.
Right? Well, stop it, Tyler. Listen. Youngest team in the NFL, right? Right. Yep. And then they had Aaron Jones here bringing in all that veteran experience and leadership and everything. I just don't like how it went down. I think I was reading online that like they asked him to take like a 50% pay cut. Obviously, he's not going to do that. And then, now he's got to go sign and play with our rivals in the division with Minnesota. So that's really upsetting. And, I'm sure I'll grow to love Josh Jacobs.
You will.
After his first touchdown. But right now, my
he's an all-time dude too, just like Aaron Jones.
Yeah, he is. I mean, like really well liked in Vegas, and I think Jacobs is. I mean, you look at 2 years ago. Again, last year, Jimmy G and Aiden O'Connell was his QB, and they kind of screwed him by saying, despite you having this great 3 years to start your career, we're giving you a 1-year deal. And if you need to know about Jimmy G, the biggest dick move ever. The Athletic shared that Jimmy G has been released and a few teams are interested, and put in parentheses a few. If you don't know what the Webster's dictionary defines a few as, it's literally just a couple things or items. So excuse me, a small number of things or items. You really need to put that in parentheses? Like, what a dig.
I think Jimmy's gonna be okay. I feel like
he's a good-looking dude and he's a millionaire. Of course he's gonna be okay, but he's not gonna be a QB anymore.
Jimmy's gonna be all right. I think he's got a future after football.
I think he'll be all right.
I'll let you guys pick. Who do you want to? Because I know we're running short on time. I know the For the Frames guys are going to be up here in just a second. But tell me who's the next running back you guys want to talk about? I'm going to let you guys pick. Dealers, not dealer's choice.
Can we talk Derrick Henry, because I'm worried it's going to be a disaster.
What?
Because of just his usage numbers. Me and Joe Matz have been talking about this for 3 years. If you look, his numbers have been on a pretty steady decline the last 2 years. And I like from a fantasy perspective, I think it's going to work out great because he's taking the Gus Edwards role. And we know that Baltimore is going to give the ball to that big physical back on the 1-2 yard line. So he's going to score a bunch of touchdowns. If you're asking me, does it really make the Ravens that much better? I'm not sure. I hope I'm wrong. I love Derrick Henry, but just history tells us he is well past those concerning numbers for running backs where you fall off a cliff. He's not really a receiving back. Like I do kind of wonder in this Todd Monken offense how it's going to work when the guys, at least at Georgia, that had the most success were more kind of athletic, shifty running backs and these kind of big physical ones.
Yeah, I mean, I see your point, but my problem is you kept using qualifiers when you were talking about Derrick Henry. He's well past. He should have fallen off. Yeah,
he's a unicorn, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Yes. That's my. I've been throwing dirt on Derrick Henry's grave for 3 years, and he just keeps on getting up, man. So.
He's done.
He was still good last year. He ran for 4.2 yards per carry, the worst mark of his career, yet he's still like pretty damn good. And that dude can still run. I know he's a bigger physical back, but he's a lot faster than we want to give him credit for.
Oh, no. I'm not saying he's slow. I just mean that it's, it was like at the end of the year last year, like when Keaton Mitchell got hurt, I think that's what derailed the Ravens because they were really finding their niche. Because again, Monken loves those kind of backs. But you're right. Like, I mean, Monken, outside of the game plan that he ran against the Chiefs, which I'll never get over, one of the worst ones ever. I think he's an unbelievable play caller. And if anybody can, he'll probably, maybe reserve Henry, right? And kind of it would make sense to save him for when you get to the playoffs. And then you kind of really then kick him into gear because we've seen Derrick Henry win playoff games almost single-handedly and take a little bit of that pressure off Lamar and the rest of the offense. So you just convinced me it's a great signing. Yeah. And J.K. Dobbins is still on the roster technically, right?
Yeah, I was about to say.
No, he's a free agent.
Is he really? Okay. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I was going to say I haven't heard any news about J.K. Dobbins at all. Have you guys? Nothing.
That's because Keith has taken him every year for the last 3 years in every fantasy draft, being like, this is the year. And then about week 2, it's over. So.
You're the reason why he keeps getting hurt. It's you. You're the curse.
I'm the jinx.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys, before we go, all right, let's pick one wide receiver to talk about.
I'm gonna go real quick on Tony Pollard. I like the Tony Pollard signing. I think we got to remember that you got to be a unicorn to be a workhorse back, and most of these guys aren't. Even DeAndre Swift, he's not going to be a workhorse back. They're going to split him with Roshan and some Khalil Herbert. So Tyjae Spears was very explosive. I think he needs to maintain that lighter workload to remain explosive, especially after his injuries in college.
Yeah, I was not aware of that. Thank you. Like, if people do not know, I was not sure. You said he's blown both ACLs, right?
Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure, yes. It's either both or he's done the same one twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have redundant skill sets. They can use them both at any point on the field. They can both run between the tackles. They can both catch the ball. So I like that signing for the Tennessee offense, and just for really for fantasy. Like I would be totally okay ranking them like running backs 19 and 20 in redraft next year, like back to back.
Yeah. Sorry. No, that's okay. So how about actually Jamie has a trade question for us. So I know For the Frames guys are going to be talking all about free agency. So I want to get to Jamie's question first before we go. Jamie wants to know, what do we think about this trade? This is a super flex 12 team. He's got Rashee Rice and Garrett Wilson for Love, Christian Kirk, and the 308.
That tells me that the Love side was light on quarterback and probably pretty heavy on wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
No way. You're telling me you're going to give up the guy that's going to be the guy for Patrick Mahomes for at least the next 3 years. And Garrett Wilson is getting Aaron Rodgers, which again, it's kind of like with Cousins, whatever you want to say. Look what Garrett Wilson has done with all the scrubs he's played with. I am so excited to see what that dude can do with a good QB. I understand the upside of Love and you get the draft pick, but I would be terrified to let those two receivers go because they're both so young. Wilson's in year 3 and Rashee Rice is in year 2 with Patrick Mahomes.
What if Aaron Rodgers goes off and becomes the vice president for you guys that?
We will not have a country anymore, and so we will not be doing the show, so I won't worry, or fantasy football, so we don't have to worry about it. That will be the end of the world.
Jamie says Love was his 3rd quarterback, if that makes sense.
So Jamie got Rashee Rice and Garrett.
Oh, you're getting the receivers? Hell yeah. Take it, bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
Smash that, Jamie, for sure. Guys, this has been so much fun. Keith, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This has been a blast.
Anytime. I love talking football with both of you guys, and seriously, like it's one of the funnest times of the year. So I appreciate you guys having me on. I watch the show almost every week, and you guys do a great job, especially when Jorge's not here. Just kidding.
Well, thank you very much. And you are welcome to come back and visit anytime you want. Guys, make sure that you are following Keith. He is over there at Keith Fleming on the Twitter. You can also find him during the season on our Daily Fix show. And then he is also on, is it weekly or daily that you're on ESPN's Northwest Florida radio show?
I mean, I would like for them to have me on daily, but it's every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central Time, and it's for 2 segments. During this time of season, we talk DFS golf. Once football season rolls around, we talk DFS football, and it's basically just all DraftKings stuff for 45 minutes. So it's, I get to nerd out. My favorite thing in the world.
Yes. All right, guys. Make sure
Online gambling is legal in North Carolina now.
You son of a bitch. God, come on, Georgia. Let's get out of the Stone Ages. Like, I can do DFS, but I can't place a wager. So stupid.
Guys, make sure that you have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Get all the notifications for when we go on air. Guys, you can follow us all over social media. He is at FF Tyler Heil. I am at Stacy _Perez 83. And Keith is at Keith Fleming. Guys, make sure that you are staying tuned for Fourth and Frames tonight. Then we've got Shoot the Gap coming up after that. Tomorrow night, we have got the Fantasy and Frames weekly fantasy show. We've got all sorts of things for you guys. And don't forget, if you're a lady and you're out there and want to play some best ball, hit me up. My DMs are open. See you guys next week.
Slide into them.